All right, this is Boxing with the Truth, and I am the Truth. Today is June 21st, 2015, and today we have with us Shawn the Sioux Warrior Hawk. How you doing today, Shawn?
Hey, good. I'm real good.
So let's just go over a few facts so some of the fans can get to know some of your information. Like I said, your nickname is the Sioux Warrior. You fought at light heavyweight. You actually started at cruiserweight, though, in the pros, right?
Yeah.
And you were born in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. But, like, right now you're living in Illinois, right?
Yeah.
And you actually retired a couple years ago, right?
No, actually, I've never retired.
That's what I was wondering, because I never heard an official announcement, but you haven't been active in about almost 3 years, though, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Right after the Cleverly fight, literally, I believe within that month, my longtime girlfriend and fiance got two major surgeries back to back within 2 months, and then so I basically stayed at the hospital, lived there with her. You know, I didn't I was just eating 3 times a day, not leaving her side, not doing nothing, just making sure she's all right, and then just that quick, man, I blew up to about 200, almost 250 pounds.
So, I mean, even though you haven't officially announced it, so you are not retired, so you would still be willing to get back in the ring right now?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, that 250 pounds I weighed about a year and a half ago. I'm currently I'm about 210 right now, walking around. Right now I'm looking for sponsors and about ready to go look for sparring.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to hear. So your pro record right now is actually 23 wins, 17 knockouts, 3 losses, 1 draw.
Yeah.
And are you 32 right now?
I am 31.
31. So you still have a few good years left in you?
Yeah, man. I still plan on doing this, for at least 35, 36.
Okay. And you know what? That's actually what I was wondering too, because I was just speaking to a colleague of mine, and that's what I was wondering after the Nathan Cleverly fight. I was telling the guy, I thought, boy, if he retired after just a shot at a world title, I thought, boy, that's kind of strange. So I'm glad to hear that you didn't retire.
Yeah, man. No, it all was a domino effect. I don't know what to say about my layoff. I just know that my girlfriend is about 90% recovered, and we're ready to get back at it and start fighting again.
Well, that's good to hear, man, that it wasn't anything with your career or that you were walking away or anything like that. So, unfortunately, I'm sorry to hear that it had something to do, with your girlfriend and medical issues, but it's good to hear that you're willing to get back in the ring, because, I think you're a solid fighter, and I think a lot of people would enjoy watching you get back in the ring.
Yeah, definitely, man. I can't wait, too. It sucks on my part because all of my TV fights were, it weren't my best fights. It just the way it worked out, I guess.
But speaking of things like that, though, you actually have had a couple titles. You are a former USBO Cruiserweight champion. You are a former Sovereign Nations Boxing Council Light Heavyweight champion, right?
Yes. And the Cruiserweight, I held the Cruiserweight one, too, I believe.
Okay. See, so, I mean, you have accomplished, quite a few things in your career, even though that maybe some of your TV fights, like you said, weren't the best in your career, but sometimes that happens with fighters.
Right, yeah.
But now a lot of people might not know, me and you have discussed this before, even though that you are living in Illinois before, you have gone back and forth to the reservation. You are part of the Crow Creek Sioux tribe, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I want to talk about that a little bit, about your culture, about Native American fighters, amateur fighters, and pro fighters, so that some of the boxing community can understand a little bit about, in your opinion, why we don't see enough of these fighters.
Man, in my opinion, it all stems from the drugs and alcohol on the reservations. I mean, there's just so much of it there, and everybody's into it that it's hard to break away from that. And then the few that do, the talented kids that can get away from drugs and alcohol, they can't get away from their families. They get homesick because that's all they know is the reservation. And their mothers and fathers or grandparents or whoever are more than happy to welcome them back because they know that that's all they know. So I think, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, how do you walk away from move away from your family, but then you want to box and fulfill your dream too.
Because there is a lot of outstanding amateur boxers that are Native American off of different reservations and stuff, and you see them in the amateurs and you hear about them in the amateurs, but then you never see them in the pros, and some people seem to wonder what happened to them. And like you said, they might catch up with the drugs or the drinking, or they don't want to leave their family because they're close to their community, and if they do leave their family and they go out there, they kind of feel alone and they don't know who to trust.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that was my biggest problem when I left to go box was being homesick. 'Cause I didn't know anybody, in Vegas and in California. I was just by myself training, and it was hard, man. I was on the phone. I got racked up all kinds of telephone bills talking to my family back home.
Okay, now I know me and you have talked about this before, and you've said you'd be willing to talk about it a little bit. And I don't want to talk about the negative aspect of this, but for a while during your career, you did have a drinking problem, right?
Yeah. I mean, I still have a drinking problem. I mean, it hasn't gone away. I mean, it's a battle I fight every day. But it's as long as I need to stay, as long as I stay positive, man, keep myself around positive people, and just keep training, I should be all right.
Okay, and that's what I wanted to ask you about. How did you realize from the negativity that it was causing you during your career? How did you turn it around and learn how to deal with it and go further in your career? You just put positive people around you, and what else?
Actually, when I first met my fiance now, she's the one who really told me about the path I've taken and the different people's lives I can touch by being sober, walking the red road, and just doing right and being positive. My girl really is the one who turned me around.
Okay, now, and I don't want people to think that we're reflecting negative on the reservation, so I want you to talk about some positive things that some of the Native American fighters do get off the reservation that are positive, that some fighters that don't live on the reservation probably don't have any knowledge of or don't get.
Just fighters that go off the res, man. You get a chance to see new things, meet new people. Make new connections, fight different places, different things.
No, but I want to know some of the positivities about being a boxer on the res, though. The tight knit community, the family stuff that people that like an average fighter that doesn't live on a res wouldn't understand or know anything about.
Oh yeah, man. Every fight you got an entire nation behind you in your corner. You got an entire city of people backing you. That's a great feeling. You get that every time you fight. No matter where you go. And most of these fights are in Indian casinos, so that carries to the next tribe as well. Natives like helping natives.
Okay, and let's talk about that a little bit too. As far as the pros, like you brought up that a lot of the pro fights are held in casinos, but we don't see a lot of the Native American pros on the cards very often. And why do you think that is?
A lot of it is, with the stereotypes, with us drinking, we won't show up to fight, or, we'll show up out of shape. It's just the stereotypes, we bring on ourselves, but, I'm trying to break us out of that, stereotype, I guess.
Okay, well, guys like you that have been on TV bouts, they have their name out there in the community, and that shows that, like you said, that you're trying to break that stereotype. And I want to bring up another guy that's pretty much broke that stereotype, another guy that you actually know and have sparred with, who is a Native American fighter, and that's Marcus Oliveira.
Oh, yeah, Marcus. He just fought for a world title, too.
Exactly, and you've told me that you guys have sparred together before, right?
Oh, yeah, we sparred probably, 100, 200 rounds together. He can punch.
So, what do you think about him as far as a fighter?
a good fighter. I mean, you can tell he was taught really well when he was young. He's a real strong kid. You know, I know we're in the same weight class, so they better pay me a lot of money to fight him because I know for a fact he hits hard.
But the question is, if they would pay you a lot of money, would you fight him?
Oh, I'll fight anybody for the right price.
Okay. So, off topic, just real quick. I don't know if you're aware of this. I actually came across this. There's actually a book titled Shawn Hawk. Were you aware of that?
I was not, no.
It has nothing to do with you or boxing, but the book is actually called Shawn Hawk. It's actually by Roger Elwood. It's a 21st century novel.
No, I have never heard of that. I might have to look it up, though.
Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that to your attention. I'm doing research on you. I came across that and thought that was pretty cool.
That's funny.
But to get back to the Nathan Cleverly fight, I want people to understand. Okay, you might have been stopped or TKO'd in the 8th round, and it was for a WBO World Light Heavyweight title fight. But there's something that a lot of fans might not know: is you actually took that fight on a 5 days notice, correct?
Yeah, I did. I honestly believed I had much better skills than him. I was in great shape. Just the only thing, I mean, I'm not making excuses, but before that fight, I hadn't thrown a punch since the Alvarez fight, in June. I believe it was like 5 months prior to that. And then, but I always, back then, I always stayed in shape. I always ran. I just wasn't boxing. And then when I got the call, you know, I'm a professional. You know, I was in shape. I was ready. I was told not to say nothing about me only working out for about a week, but that's how the game goes, and I took the fight. I lost. It was a learning experience. Okay.
Also, I want to bring up another name that was mentioned one time in your career, and I know you basically, I don't know if you actually turned on the fight, or I know you've talked to me about it before that you just weren't ready. BJ Flores.
Yeah, I believe I was offered that fight, I want to say back in 2008 or 2009. I would have fought him. I just, at the time, I wasn't ready for that fight right then at that time. And then afterward, it just kind of never panned out. I never heard about it again.
Okay, so have you actually been in the gym lately? Are you training again? Are you, like, basically, I hate to say a comeback because it's not really a comeback, but because you actually stopped, like we said, because of your girlfriend's medical issues. But are you training again? Are we going to see you anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm currently training here in Illinois. Like I said, I'm about to get some sparring here shortly in the next week or two. I'm basically... My girl's my co-manager. I'm basically going to be looking for a promoter, and I would like to fight, as often as I can by the end of this year.
Okay. Also, I heard you do something else besides boxing. Talk to me a little bit about your motivational speaking that you do.
Oh yeah, it was just something my girl had talked to me about. Being that there was a lot of kids in the Indian community that looked up to me, we went around and was speaking at boarding schools, Indian schools, and just being like an ambassador, trying to get them to basically get their minds off of, the reservation life and try to give them a positive, outlook on something. I went to one of this North Dakota school I was at, Wapaton, and they actually started a boxing program because I went there. And then they had this boxing program, and they invited me back, and I started teaching. And one of those kids that I was coaching actually won the state junior Olympics with only I believe he only had about 3-4 months experience. But he was a really good kid.
All right, so let's get back to your career a little bit. When you fight, is there any superstitions or rituals or habits that you do before a fight?
Not really. Just pray that my body holds out for what's going to happen. Other than that, man, no, it's all about business to the point. I just like to get in there and get it done. Okay, now I know that you wear a headdress out to the ring. Is there a specific meaning behind that? My dad came up with that. It's just basically we wanted to represent my native culture and show how proud we are of it. And then I come out with the war drums, and that always gets me going. That always gets me ready for battle.
Okay, is there one individual in your life, inside and outside the ring, that has influenced you in your career?
Sure. My father, he's been a really big help all through the years. He's always, was always there to correct me when I got out of line, to teach me the right thing, and he was always there for me.
Okay, is there are you following the division right now while you're getting back into training? Are you following the light heavyweight division?
Yeah, absolutely. I never really stopped. I always had in the back of my mind that I was going to come back and fight these guys again.
So is there one name on there right now that if you were ready to get into a war again, that you'd like to go against on there?
Well, everybody is talking about Kovalov. I'd love to fight Kovalov. Eventually, Donna Stevenson. All the guys in the top 10. That's what everybody, every prize fighter wants, is to fight the best.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to end the interview on that, and I want to give you a chance to say to your supporters, your fans, something before we end. And hopefully, like I said, we will be seeing you soon. And with all the new TV coverage, what's going on in boxing right now, and all the channels they seem to be taking over, hopefully we'll see you back on TV soon.
Oh, yeah, heck yeah, man. I can't wait.
So anything...
But yeah, to my fans, man, thanks for holding on. I'm coming back. Keep the faith. I'm coming. Thanks.
All right, and the truth has spoken.